After the victories of Alien Poggy at the Tour de France and Focus in Evenepoel at the Paris Olympics, pro cycling is now gearing up for the imminent Vuelta a España, a race which we will be following daily here on the channel. Remember, subscribe right now if you don't want to miss a day of racing. Defending champion Sepp Kuss, the same one that the doctor involved in the Ilex operation, Marcos Minar, said was climbing so quickly it was as if there was an invisible hand behind him. Well, the American has won his first competition since then in the Vuelta a Burgos, showing that he's all ready and fully prepared for the Spanish round. However, another Vuelta champion, one who tested positive for salbutamol at one point, our beloved White Kenyan, is not having the best of times. You've seen him throughout the season, dragging himself to various competitions around the world, whether it's Rwanda or Romania or, in his most recent appearance, the Arctic race of Norway, where, while the local team was well prepared by the government of the country and took the final victory with a Dane, because there's always a Dane, in this case, the nice mustachioed Kort Nielsen, Chris Froome made a fool of himself, again, finishing 89th out of 101 participants, more than 24 minutes behind the winner, and that in only 4 days of competition. But he's posted memes that will at least serve to be thumbnails for our videos, and following the life of an influencer rather than that of a professional cyclist. The question is, why is Chris Froome, the biggest totally legit scammer of the last 15 years, still in pro cycling? Watch the video till the end, and you'll find out. At the Jewish-Israel Premier Tech team, they can't take it anymore. The White Kenyan that they welcomed with open arms to sportswash Israel's name around the world has duped the Canadian billionaire and team owner Sylvan Adams with so many false promises that he would return to the level he attained after the 2011 Tour of Poland, when he realized he was suffering from bilharzia and could have a TUE to take therapeutic drugs that helped him on his way to becoming a superstar. He signed a contract of €5.5 million a year with no expiry date. Simply when Chris Froome wanted to retire, then he'd retire. Undoubtedly the most brilliant action by any athlete against a billionaire ever seen in history. Already 4 years have gone, and it will be increased to 5, because the White Kenyan has already said he wants to compete until he's 40 years old and win a stage in the Tour de France. That's a race where Adams' team is trying to put pressure on Froome by not making him part of the lineup for La Grande Boucle, so that he won't make an even bigger fool of himself, but also secondly in the hope that he might retire at once. Adams himself is desperate. He's already made several public statements inviting the Kenyan to quit cycling at once, so that he doesn't have to pay him that $5.5 million a year. In recent statements, the world champion of sexagenarians commented that even Froome himself must know that his level is pathetic, and that he's obviously lying when he says that he believes he will win at the top level again. In 4 years, all he's done is finish third on one stage of the Tour de France. And what he did several years ago, well, that no longer counts. Now, we don't know if Sylvan Adams follows our channel or not, but looking at his statements, well, there's a chance. And, well, we are in the need of millionaire friends to finance your old uncle's cycling highlights, especially since old Biana doesn't cough up a single euro. And we thought that since you throw millions at Froome, we could ask for, well, just a little bit less to support us. We love you, Sylvain. And that's why now we're going to explain to you why your White Kenyan doesn't want to retire. It's evident that Chris Froome knows many things. Many things about the change from Lance Armstrong's incredibly dirty epocha to the current one, where there are only doping positives in Portugal or Ecuador or Guatemala. For 15 years, the kind and friendly on the outside but Machiavellian on the inside, Chris Froome has been able to win the trust of the whole cycling world. His rivals appear in videos with him, making a fool of himself. His teammates over all these years, they still adore him, with the exception of an alcoholic beggar who could tell many things, even if it comes at the price of sacrificing himself. Even Sylvan himself, possible future friend of the channel, believed him in 2020 when he'd already been crawling for a year, and he assured him that it was because of the injury that no one had seen while training in a Criterium Dauphiné. Froome still has sponsors on his side, despite these years of making a fool of himself. He's like a charismatic retired athlete, going for a spin with the peloton. But more importantly, he's always had the UCI on his side. In his best days, it was a compatriot on paper who ran world cycling, allowing aberrations from a team with dopers like Michael Rogers or Michael Barry in their ranks, or dopers like Bobby Julich as sports directors, or doping doctors like Richard Freeman and Geert Leinders in their ranks. But currently, he also gets along very well with Selfie Lepation, as it could not be otherwise with all the African interests that our much-photographed French mayor has. In fact, both coincided in the tax haven of the doper's friend Prince Albert in the recent Tour de France peace race, an absolutely hilarious fact with the Kenyan wearing the jersey of Israel. Of course, Chris also has friends at Omari Sports, and while Christian Prudhomme's friends are trying to close our channel, Froome is entertaining them by going to all their criteriums and races. In fact, the recent Norwegian competition where he's just made yet another fool of himself is an Omari Sports race. This protection and knowledge serve to make the white Kenyan totally protected from all kinds of investigations. He's bulletproof, because if he falls, they all fall, and that can be seen by anyone. Even Sylvan Adams, who's reduced to crying in the media and can't send him back home. But what possibly could Chris Froome know? Well, for starters, he knows that Poggy, our beloved Slovenian alien, is a complete mutant. And not just because the legendary Antoine Valle says so. For it is he who has corroborated that Poggy 2024 is the cyclist who has moved the most watts in the entire history of the Tour de France, surpassing 1995's Enevit Indurain, who was so far the greatest alien in cycling history. It was the Kenyan himself in an interview for Velo magazine who said that Poggy is incredible, absolutely incredible. He can't even believe the wattage and the times being beaten in the mountains. And even though for fans of these mutants it's something totally normal, due to improvements in nutrition and technology, not for Froome. For Froome, Poggy's figures are hard to believe, mind-boggling. As mind-boggling as the 27.5 million euros he has swindled from Sylvan Adams, yes. Now, as we say, these are the words of an expert. But we also know that Froome knows many things about the Jewish Israel Premier Tech team for which he competes. For example, it would be nice if some journalist asked the Kenyan about just how they prepared the team's bikes at the 2021 training camp in Tenerife. While Froome was making his classic promotional videos and climbing the toughest slopes in the world, a person related to the team, not a rider or a direct staff member, but a friend, so to speak, appeared on the slopes of Tede, testing a bike with a motor. The same one you're seeing in this exclusive image, brought to you by your Uncle Cycling Highlights. We'd like to explain this story in another video, but for that, we need you to share this one on your social networks, and also let us know in the comments what you think of those test bikes that Froome and Adams' friends were preparing. Who knows, if Sylvan becomes our friend, maybe he'll even give us one! In the meantime, check out that video on the screen there. You will love it.